What do you think Wilkes' game plan is going to be? Let's talk about the game plans of on both sides. Let's talk about the Wilkes game plan first. What's his game plan to defend Pittsburgh? Are we going to see linebacker blitzes? Are they going to get it done with just their front four? I mean, the one thing that is, somebody brought up in the chat that I think is a fair comment. Kenny Pickett in the preseason played 5 series. He led them on 5 touchdown drives in those 5 series. So he comes into this game in a good rhythm. How does Wilkes interrupt that rhythm?
I think you just need to put some pressure on him. The numbers are good for Pickett, right? But when you look at it, how much of that play was against starting level teams? I think that's the other thing too. When you look at this preseason, you look at the 49ers defense, the struggles that they've had, the offense, how good they were, all these types of things. Who are they playing against? Who was on the field? The 49ers starters have barely played at all in these preseason games. It's been almost all backups and their depth players for the most part, with a couple of exceptions. So I don't think we really know exactly what we're going to get from this team in terms of what the way that I would attack the Steelers if I was Steve Wilkes. I think, in this game, because they use 3 wide so much, I think you're going to see a lot of that nickel and dime. So you're not going to see 3 linebackers on the field. You're going to see a lot of 4-down linemen, a lot of 2 linebackers, a nickel, maybe an extra safety every once in a while in the box, which is something that they do have done in the past as well. I think you need to kind of pick and choose your blitzes. I think you just really need to stop. You need to stop the run. You need to get after Kenny Pickett with your down 4, make him find spots to beat you. And I think that's how they'd be able to get to him, because I think they'll get pressure with Bosa and Armstead and Hargrave. I think those 3 can generate enough pressure that's going to move the quarterback off a spot. And if they can do that, and they're just playing coverage behind it, I think that really plays into their strengths.
Train is coming through.
It is. The Bosa Express is rolling on.
The train is coming through. Of the Pittsburgh weapons, offensive weapons, there's Pickett, there's Najee, Jalen Warren, Anthony McFarland, kind of the 3-headed backfield. They have Connor Hayward as a fullback they like to throw it to. They've got a couple tight ends, Freiermuth, who's excellent down the seam, one of Pickett's favorite targets. They also have the gigantic rookie out of Georgia, Darnell Washington. And then, they got 3 wide receivers of note in Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, Allen Robinson out of the slot, probably against Demo Lenore. They also have Calvin Austin, the third, who's pretty dynamic in his own right on gadget plays and definitely as a return man. Which of their offensive weapons do you think Wilkes stays up at night this week thinking about? Who's the guy that you're like, man, I would love to take that guy away?
I think you need to watch out in this one for the wide receiver George Pickens. His ability to go deep and take you deep it could be a problem. Especially again depending on how they match him up. If you get him matched up one-on-one with Charvarius Ward, I would take that deep shot on Charvarius Ward. We've seen him struggle with that, and especially if he's got a little bit of an issue going on with his heel, get George Pickens, who's a big deep threat type of guy, and they'll give him 50-50 balls and whatnot. Line him up on Ward, take a shot. That's what I would be worried about that if I was Steve Wilkes, that they're going to line him up and they're going to do that a number of times, because we've seen Ward struggle with this. We saw him struggle with it in the postseason. I really felt like last year down the stretch, the 49ers best cornerback was Deommodore Lenoir, not Charvarius Ward. He did very well during the end of the regular season, into the postseason. Charvarius Ward seemed to struggle a little bit there, and I think that would be what would scare me the most, that a little bit of a foot injury there, and the receiver just has his ability to get down the field and make big plays. That'd be concerning to me.
Teasy jumps in with Deontay Johnson he's surgical all over the field. Pickens is a big play guy for sure, though. No question. They got Deontay Johnson, I think, is probably the best receiver that nobody talks anything about.
Yes.
Like you could say, hey, who are the best receivers in football? Nobody ever says Deontay Johnson, and yet he's pretty damn good. We got this one on the Super from NFL Fans for Life. He said, defense has been carrying this team for years. It's time for Kyle and the offense to carry this team. If the defense struggles, no excuses. Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be a little bit of give and take. All right, let's flip it over and talk about the 49ers on the offensive side. What's Kyle Shanahan's game plan? They got a fierce rush. They're a hard-hitting bunch. Cam Hayward's got double-digit sacks inside, but then they also have TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbig, Marcus Golden, some pretty active inside backers in Landon Roberts, Cole Holcomb, new guys. They got Mark Robinson, pretty athletic player. They got kind of a remade secondary. Minka's the star back there at free safety. The rest of the guys, I think, are pretty freaking ordinary. Patrick Peterson, Keanu Neal, Levi Wallace, Chandon Sullivan, Desmond King, Damonte Casey, Joey Porter Jr. in his first start in the NFL. I don't know. This is one of the reasons I like the Niners. Is I think if the Niners can block the Steeler front, I think the Niner receivers can make plays against the secondary, and I kind of think the game plan is going to be for Shanahan to get Landon Roberts and Cole Holcomb, get them playing pass coverage. The Niners have thrown it a lot to their backs. There's been a lot of the quick game, short game, bootleg game. I think we're going to in practice this summer. I think we'll see a lot of that in the games. I think they'll put Holcomb and Roberts as the conflict defender and kind of pick on those guys in space. What do you see as Kyle's game plan this week?
Yeah, I would go right back to what we've seen the last 2 preseason games. I would come out, throw in the ball, underneath stuff, just those quick throws, get your guys the ball in space against those linebackers. That is where I think the 49ers offense, their biggest advantage is against the linebackers. If they can get matchups with those linebackers, I think their best way of doing that is probably going to be through the quick passing game early on. I think the 49ers, if you're going to run the ball, it's there for you too. But the problem is you got to get push, you got to get past that defensive line, and there's some tough guys in that defensive interior to move, and the 49ers have struggled to really generate any kind of movement along that offensive front. And so I think you opened up the game with a quick passing game, attack those linebackers, like you said, try to, a little bit, the bootlegs and one-on-ones there, choice routes and those types of things. And I think that really plays to your advantage, and you got to be patient. And then when an opportunity opens up, you take it. But that's after, if you can establish the run, I don't think you're going to do that early on. I think you're going to see them come out throwing the ball, and that's going to get some movement. And then once you get that movement, then you can establish the run. And then once you establish the run, then you come back, because now you've got them kind of in between. And that's where that play action game takes effect. I don't think that, I think he was a little premature on that in Philly. I think I would like to see him learn from that lesson here on Sunday. Kind of just stick to the shorter stuff and really work it and keep your defense off the field as well.